Many Americans blame China for this whole thing as far as COVID 19 is concerned. They're upset because their whole life has been uprooted in this country. They lost their jobs, their kids aren't in school, their income has changed, the economy has fallen, and they have been on lockdown all this time. And many are not in such a forgiving mood when it comes down to China. Ladies and gentlemen, this story comes out on Newsweek, May 15th, 2020. 41% of Americans won't buy Chinese goods. 35% of Chinese won't buy American. So you got people over in China that won't buy American products, and you got people in America that flat out refuse to buy anything that says made in China. So, yes, it has come down to this. A new Deutsche Bank survey shows that 41% of Americans say they won't buy products made in China, and 35% of Chinese citizens won't buy products from America either. But while the consumer hostility may directly result from the countries criticizing one another over their coronavirus mismanagement, it also pretends ongoing changes in trade between the two economies. At a glance, a survey from Deutsche Bank's big data platform, DB seems to suggest a growing mistrust of foreign made goods. It also suggests that a majority of consumers on both shores aren't completely ready to shun each country's products either. US consumer distrust of China has likely also been affected by the 18-month trade war between the two countries, with billions of dollars in tariffs placed on each country's imported goods. In early January, the US signed a trade deal with China, but the South China Morning Post noted, "We must bear in mind that the trade war is not over yet. The US hasn't revoked all of its tariffs on China, and China is still impending its retaliatory measures. There are still many uncertainties down the road," it noted, including whether each country actually honors the deal. Such uncertainties have increased increased because of the coronavirus epidemic. Newsweek reached out to the White House and Chinese ambassador to the United States for comment. This story will be updated with any response. Tariffs still remains on hundreds of billions of dollars worth of Chinese products, and now US President Donald Trump is threatening new tariffs and even to cut off the whole deal with China as a way to punish the country for allegedly allowing the pandemic to spread. In retaliation, Chinese officials, state owned media accused the US of blaming China to deflect its own mishandling of the epidemic. But even outside of the COVID 19 epidemic, countries are likely to conflict over emerging technologies like Chinese state owned enterprise artificial intelligence and superfast 5G mobile networks, says former Federal Reserve Chair Janet Yellen. A November 2019 report by the United Nations found American consumers had literally paid the price of the trade war while the Chinese economy took a $35 billion hit in the first half of 2019 after the coronavirus pandemic eventually subsided. Bill DiMartino, Chief Customer Officer at the supply chain risk management solution company, Risk Methods, thinks the company around the world will want to become less reliant on China for its products, knowing that a disruption in Chinese production could negatively disrupt supply chains worldwide. Post pandemic, you're going to have to simmer pools of forces, companies that are going to look at the risk of being reliant on China or being seen as making everything there, DiMartino told Forbes. For consumers, that could become a negative. New technology, robotics, artificial intelligence, all of this will make onshoring more feasible, DiMartino said, meaning that more countries like the US will likely start manufacturing products it once relied on China to provide. You know what? At this point, I would have to see it to believe it. Okay, look, there's always been talk for many decades now of jobs coming back to the US from China, and we have never really seen it. I wouldn't hold my breath on that, but I do know a lot of Americans are upset, very upset with China, and they blame them for changing everything about their livelihoods. So we will see how this all plays out. You know, it's a lot of resentment on both sides. I don't know what China's upset for, but it's a lot of resentment on both sides at the end of the day. But we shall see how this plays out. Trump talking about cutting them off. I just don't see how that's going to be a possibility. But y'all, please tell me what you think. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.